Hey Star Warriors, Stargeek here, to count down the top 10 best scenes from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This list was particularly difficult to compile, so I'm sorry if there are a few duds on here near the beginning. I tried my best with what I had, and to cover the rules of this list, I can make a scene as long or as short as I want to. In today's episode, we're looking at the first film of the Prequel Trilogy, The Phantom Menace. In 10th place, we have Anakin's introduction.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Out of the many moments that Anakin Skywalker has in this film, this is the one where we learn the most about him. We learn about his background, his lifestyle, and his personality. It might not be the most interesting scene, and it's definitely not very intense, but Anakin Skywalker is the backbone to the entire saga. This moment of future spouses interacting for the first time is a vital step towards their character development. The location of Autoshop is the perfect backdrop to understand just how Anakin has lived, and juxtaposing the Queen of Naboo with a grimy used spaceship parts shop puts her out of her element, but shows that she isn't fazed by it. It's certainly not the best scene, but it's vital to the story.
You're a slave?
I'm a person, and my name is Anakin.
At spot number 9 is the invasion of Naboo.
You saved my again!
What's this?
A local. Let's get out of here before more droids show up.
More?
Yes, I've put the introduction of everyone's favorite character, Jar Jar Binks, at 9th place. Let me explain. Naboo is one of the most creatively designed planets in the Star Wars saga, with palaces, underwater cities, marshes, waterfalls, and plains. The moments where we first see the forests and various creatures that live on this planet, all destroyed by the Federation, really expand our view on the galaxy. And sure, while Jar Jar Binks can get pretty distracting, through him we see Qui-Gon's compassion by saving a local creature. I might be stretching by extending the scene this far, but the shot where we see the Jedi approaching the Gungan city is incredible. We also get one of the best quotes from the films.
You almost got us killed. Are you brainless?
I speak?
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
In 8th place, we have Artoo and Threepio.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human-Cyborg Relations. How might I serve you?
He's perfect.
Oh?
The most lovable duo in film history. R2-D2 and C-3PO's relationship is one that will live on for generations of fans. This is one of the most important moments in their friendship, meeting for the very first time in the Skywalker workshop. 3PO's intricate design in The Phantom Menace is perfectly crafted, with R2 looking as good as ever. Right from the beginning, the pair are bickering and poking fun, only strengthening their position as the most iconic pair of droids. And if you think that it's ridiculous that Anakin built 3PO, let me inform you that he didn't exactly build him from scratch. 3PO was actually over 100 years old before the time period of The Phantom Menace. Having been built by Cybot Galactica and put to use as a Navigator's protocol droid, when he fell into disrepair, his main components eventually ended up on Tatooine, and Anakin basically just put him together like a puzzle. That should help you get over the idea that 3PO was built by Darth Vader. But I digress. This is a fun scene for any Star Wars fan.
I beg your pardon, but what do you mean, naked? My parts are showing. My goodness. Oh.
At 7th, we have negotiations.
They are still coming through. This is impossible.
When The Phantom Menace opened up to a couple of diplomats walking around in a gray room talking about politics, something felt wrong. But that was before they whipped out the lightsabers. While Nute Gunray and the Trade Federation tries to wipe out the Jedi Knights, they take the opportunity to show off their abilities. Laser ricocheting, super speed, and saber battling. We are introduced to our two main characters of the film as they make their way through the Federation battleship. One of the best moments is Qui-Gon sinking his lightsaber right into the blast shields between him and the Nemoidians. It shows the true power a lightsaber can give you. Evading their captors and hiding away en route to Naboo, this moment earns 7th place.
You were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short.
Entering at spot number 6 is the Battle Droid Battle.
Starting up the shield.
This is an incredible battle. The army of Gungans versus the masses of battle droids. The sprawling plains of Naboo serve as the perfect backdrop for this fight. The creatures, force fields, and MTTs all complete the surroundings for the skirmish between good and evil. The way that the battle droids are released and unfolded has always been one of my favorite design choices from the prequels, and nothing is more satisfying than seeing the Gungan Boomas taking out a group of droids. Jar Jar Binks gets his moment in the spotlight to delight the kids and make the adults groan, but he isn't the focus of the battle. The quick turns that the fight takes keep it interesting, with the Gungans coming out victorious in the end, even if it was by default. It's great to see action taking place in a spectacular location, earning this battle 6th place.
No giving up, General Jaja. Lisa, think of something.
Hands up. My give up. My give up.
Making it to the halfway mark at spot number 5 is Anakin's farewell.
Can I go, Mom?
Anakin, this path has been placed before you. The choice is yours alone.
This is a very short and mostly unnoticed scene. It isn't incredibly memorable, it's definitely not a perfect performance, but it has exactly what it needs. Moments of joy, humor, and heartbreak. Anakin gets to train and become a Jedi, leaving his mother and home behind for a chance at freedom. It's hard for both of them, but they know that this is the best for Anakin's future. He leaves the uncompleted Threepio on Tatooine, but sets forth for greater things. The line where he mentions coming back to free Shmi is a good way to set up a huge plot point in Attack of the Clones. Anakin leaving his slave life behind was his first step towards becoming a Jedi.
Now, be brave, and don't look back. Don't look back.
At spot number 4 is Confronting the Gungans.
Yusa bringen the mechanics. Yusa all bombard.
Confronting the Gungans may seem so simple, but there's a lot of different aspects that make it incredible. To start, the location that this scene is set is really one of the best in the entire saga. Ancient ruins riddle the beautiful forest surrounding the Gungan sanctuary. Sunlight shines through the tree canopy onto the twisted roots, grass, and moss. Temples and stairs are visible in the background, as bird-like creatures fly across the screen. Actually, this setting shares a lot of similarities with Dagobah. In the scene itself, Padme reveals herself to be the true queen. The Naboo and the Gungans put each other on the same level, and the two species unite to fight against the invasion. The acting is far from perfect, but concept and visuals are incredible, earning this scene 4th place.
Maybe we saw being friends.
In 3rd place, we have the pod race. This is one of the most memorable parts of the Phantom Menace. Giant sweeping passes through magnificent desert canyons make the race a thrilling spectacle. The creatures that are introduced here have become iconic over the years, and the pod racers themselves have brilliant designs. 2 giant engines tied together by plasma beams makes for the perfect design of these rickety old vehicles. Even with all of the intense noise and action going on around our characters, we can get invested in the race through their actions. Anakin's resourcefulness, Sebulba's cheating, and even the spectators' reaction help the film progress. The plot twists and unexpected dilemmas that occur throughout the race keep it interesting, with Tusken Raiders, Jawas, and even Jabba the Hutt making appearances. And maybe a bit on the long side, but it's all worth it for the visuals, sound effects, and high-flying action. In 2nd place, we have Darth's Duel. This is by far one of the best scenes in the entire saga. Fantastic imagery, great choreography, and an incredible theme. Here we have the true introduction of Darth Maul, actually seeing him in combat with the 2 Jedi Knights that we've been getting to know better and better throughout the film. Obi-Wan gets knocked around, Maul shows off his crazy flips, and Qui-Gon tests his patience. Maul's piercing yellow eyes, bright red skin, and double-bladed lightsaber all add to the menace of his character. And while the lightsaber duel is the main attraction, it's not the best part of this scene. When the force field doors close upon Obi-Wan, and he is forced to helplessly watch his master get cut down by his greatest foe, we can feel the pain that Obi-Wan is experiencing. It's an amazing sequence with a somewhat triumphant ending, slicing Maul in half to end the fight. This incredible scene with an even better soundtrack definitely deserves at least 2nd place. Before I give you my favorite scene from episode 1, here are some runners-up. Dinner conversation.
No one can kill a Jedi.
I wish that were so.
Sebulba Shuffle.
Porque umengisa. Mitisa radical vanapi chapa chawa.
Saving the Queen. Meeting the Gungans. Bad bet. Skywalker family line.
I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
Revenge.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Finally, in first place is the best scene from the Phantom Menace, is Qui-Gon Jinn's death.
He is the chosen one. He will bring balance. Train him.
I know, it seems like this should be included in the same place as Darth Maul's Duel, but I think it's much more important, deserving of its own spot on this list. Obi-Wan has just finished destroying his master's killer, and speaks with Qui-Gon in his final moments. The conversation that goes on here is incredibly important, setting up the future of the galaxy more than anyone could have imagined. Taking on the burden of trading that one boy who his master believed to be the chosen one sets up the rest of Obi-Wan's life, allowing the following films to commence. This is a heart-wrenching scene, as two best friends spend their final moments together, and the following funeral pyre is equally as emotional, mirroring the incredible moment from Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan has his first real connection with Anakin, and the Star Wars story truly begins. This is my favorite scene from the Phantom Menace, earning first place.
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
So that's my list on the top 10 best Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace scenes. Subscribe to StarGeek for weekly Star Wars content. If you enjoyed the video or agree with the list, please shoot that like button at light speed. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by clicking the links in the description, and you can check out my last video, a tribute to R2-D2 actor Kenny Baker, if you just click on the thumbnail. You can also watch my list of the top 10 best special edition changes. Until we meet again in a galaxy far, far away, this has been StarGeek. Weird Al Yankovic. If you don't know who this is, then just look up the song The Saga Begins on YouTube. His first big Star Wars parody was Yoda, poking fun at the Kinks song Lola. In 1999, he wanted to commemorate the start of a new Star Wars trilogy with a parody of the song American Pie. The Saga Begins is by far my favorite satire song of all time, outlining the story of the Phantom Menace from Obi-Wan Kenobi's perspective. Weird Al is actually a huge Star Wars fan, even making an appearance on the Star Wars show to talk about his parodies. It's a fantastic song that, if you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest checking out right now. And if you have seen it already, why not see it again?